Yeah, so we back with the Out the Box Life and Lessons podcast. It's your girl Big Toya, and we getting into some decision making and mental health today.
Like we was like so tuned into the last conversation that you had. We wanted to come back again. Like we back here again. I mean, it's me, Monk behind the scenes.
No, I appreciate y'all for real. Let's get into it. So Malcolm gonna be grilling me a little bit today, but you know, like always, and from the last episode and every episode moving forward, I'm gonna give y'all 100. I'm gonna be 100 with everything, always 100, even if I'm a dick about it. So I don't give a fuck. Let's go. What's your question, Malcolm?
Alright, so I know you see what's going on in the world today. Right now, especially in Philly, these young boys is wilding, they tripping, they spazzing out. And me being your little brother, I know where you come from. I know what you was doing back in that age. So tell me something about, do you relate to them? Can you relate to them? And where do you see it going?
Honestly, I can relate to them to a certain extent. Now, I wasn't out here just shooting people. Every time I'm pissed the fuck off, I'm just going out here just shooting somebody. Like, no. Like, in order for me to move in that manner, like, you really have to do something to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be like top tier. You know, me as a teen, I was reckless. So, like, trying to judge these kids and what they doing now, it's like, I can say something about all the killing that they doing, but I was so reckless that I don't even want to touch on it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to sit here and judge them. For real, only can judge their upbringing and their parents, honestly. Because I know for me, when I was growing up, I didn't have the right guidance. I wasn't always surrounded by the best influences. And, you know, you are a product of your environment. So if all you know is drugs and guns and, you know, more than likely that's the way that you gonna, you know what I mean, move through life. Especially being one of the oldest children, you know what I mean, you have to witness everything that the adults is doing and what they shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? And then still trying to figure out everything on your own because your parents doing this and, you know, they don't really know how to be parents and, you know what I mean? You really just growing up on your own. Trying to figure out how to be a child and an adult at the same time.
That's crazy.
So for me, I had so much built up anger that I couldn't control it. Like everything, you couldn't look at me wrong, bro. Like, I'm gonna smack the shit out you. That's just the type of time that I was on. And it's like, you know, I look back now and like, damn, like, I was just doing too much. Like, that's just too much. Don't get me wrong, because I smacked somebody today. But, like, if you look at me wrong, it's like, I might give you a pass, but I'm not about, like, back then, it was no, like, it was a split-second decision. Now I got to think about my choices because I have so much to lose. Like, you know what I mean? And I have, you know, children that look up to me. So I'm just trying to, you know, live my best life and do things the right way so I can have a better influence on the children that look up to me.
And what was the click for that, though? What at what point in your life or what happened to make you say, all right, I need to change my action?
I feel like when my daughter was about 3 or 4, I came to the realization that I didn't want her to have to live a life that I lived, having to be without a parent because my father was shot to death. You know what I mean? So having to be without him, who was my superhero at the time, who was my everything, you know what I mean? And she's looking at me like that Like, I'm her everything. It's like, I never wanted her to feel that pain.
Okay. So, what did you do? Like, what steps did you take to heal yourself to make you a better person?
Honestly, it took for me getting locked up on attempted murder, aggravated assault, and a host of other charges. And the judge that I had, when I tell you that she looked just like my mom's mom, my grandma, she looked just like her. Like, looked just like her. And, you know, even though I was found guilty on some things, she took it easy on me. Because she said she seen something in me. You know what I mean? And she gave me a second chance at life, because I probably would just be getting out of jail. Like, from like 19, I'll probably just be getting out of jail. And I'm 35 years old.
Damn. That would have been a lot of time missed. How was it though? Like, did you have to do time, and how was that experience for you? And what could you tell these kids, like, they're basically going to the same direction? What could you tell them?
Honestly, in the beginning, you know, when they came and got me, you know, y'all was there. The cops was there. The helicopters was outside. They was everywhere. You know, I'm trying to run, and they just everywhere. Like, you know, there's nowhere to go. And I'm like, damn.
Did you try to hop out the window? Yo, is that true? Would you try to hop out the back window?
No, that wasn't me. That was actually.
Oh, okay.
My cousin had got locked up with me too that same night, but that was actually her trying to hop out. But I just gave it up. I'm just like, man, just let me put my shoes on, bro. Because if you know me, I do not like walking around with no shoes on. Like, I do not. Like, I have to have something on my feet at all times. But yeah, so after that experience, and you know what's crazy? I wasn't even scared. I was so fearless back then that it's like, I just had this I don't give a fuck attitude. And it's because I was just tired. I was just tired of having to make every decision. Having to constantly choose everybody else over myself. Having to constantly be a mom, you know, when my mom wasn't able to. And it's like, I just wanted to be a kid. You know what I mean? And it's like everything that I was going through when I was younger, I was just so angry about. I just wanted to be a child. And I feel like I was robbed of that experience because of, you know, the lack of knowledge that my mom had. You know, she went through her addiction, and, you know, it really just took a toll on my life. And I probably, when I got to my teenage years, I didn't care.
So it was like you were looking for a change, no matter what kind of change, good or bad, was coming, basically.
Yeah. So it's like going without. You know, you get tired of that shit. Like, you get tired of going without. Why don't I didn't ask to be here. Why don't I have this? Why do I have to go to school looking like this? Like, so over time I developed, you know, the mental of, I'm going to do what I need to do for me. Whatever that means. I know about the drug game. You know what I mean? I know it comes with the drug game. Right? Do I rather be there than here? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is where a lot of these young kids are, you know, they just lashing out because they don't have. A lot of them don't have, and they are growing up in the same environments that I was running from. They're just running. They're just running from their environment, trying to create another environment. And it's like, that environment is toxic. But this environment is toxic. But it makes me feel like something. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes me feel strong. Like, I got my friends around me. They hyping me. You know, back then it was fighting. I fought a lot. Back then, we fought. Now, y'all just shooting. But it's still like kind of the same like mindset. If you think about it.
So are you a believer that a hug a day takes the pain away?
I feel like a hug is sometimes all a person needs sometimes. Think about this. Think about growing up and after a certain age, you not even getting hugged anymore. Think about 6 or 7, all the hugs stop. Like you ain't the baby no more.
Yeah.
Understand how having multiple children, and mind you, my mom has 7 children, and that's only on my mom's side. My dad had 4 on his side, right? So just imagine you going from, oh my baby, then all these kids start coming, so you just keep getting pushed to the back of the motherfucking line. It's like, hey, I'm still right. I'm right here. Hey, look at me.
And then it helped that we were like scared steps away from each other.
Yes, and it is like I always wanted to be seen. Still, even at 14, 15, 16, I wanted to be seen, and the only way I was going to be seen is if I acted out. Because that's the only way people are going to pay attention. Oh, yeah, Latoya's being suspended for school for 3 days. She got into a fight. I know I'm about to get the attention from my mom now. You know what I mean? All the attention about to be on me now because she got to come up to the school. She got to come get me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, might as well get suspended every week.
It's like you were taking what you can get. It's like you don't care which way you get the attention, good or bad, as long as you get it.
And it was like it didn't change because my mom, she was so kind-hearted that her putting us on punishment, it wasn't a punishment. Like, let me explain. Okay, I get suspended from school. Go in your room, don't come out, blah, blah, blah. She's saying all that at first. And then later on that day, she's going to come to me and apologize to me as if she did something wrong.
It's like she had to be two parents at one time, though.
Right, but that becomes, that's from being such an empath that you feel, she know that I'm upset. She know I don't want to be in this room. And she know I'm not going to stay in that room long, right? She can feel what I'm feeling already. And she don't want to be the person that's making me feel like that. But it has to be a direct thing for her to really see it. You understand what I'm saying? But she can't see the emotional impact that she's having on me and why I'm acting up. Right? So, 11th grade year, I was on the verge of getting kicked out of school. I had 2 options. Either I was going to go to night classes or I was going to be kicked out of school. So I went to night classes. I'm no dummy. Right? I was bad. And the crazy part is all the fights that I had in school, it was from me taking up for other people. I'm never just lashing out on people. Right? Like, I cannot know you. And if I see you being bullied, I'm gonna walk up to you and I'm gonna address the person that's bullying you like, why you fucking with my cousin? That was my favorite line. And that's the fight. Then the fight happens.
So would you say that it's a cycle?
It's definitely a cycle.
But
That I don't want to keep repeating generation after generation, and that's why I chose to be a different person. I said to myself that I don't want this life. I know what comes with this life. I don't want my daughter to see what comes with this life. You know, yeah, it got me somewhere. You know, it got me money. It helped me take care of her. You know what I mean? But there's other ways. So for me, I'm just like, figure out your path, yo. Figure out your path, yo, and figure out what you want to do with yourself. Because this ain't it no more.
So like, how hard was that? Like, I know, like this from personal experiences, right? Like when you try to become a whole different person, not like become a whole different person, but become a better version of you. Like you're almost killing the old version. So the old version of you is dead. So like that transition between your old to your new is like a very tough process. And how long did it take you to go through that process? And what did you have? Like what steps did you have to take to do it? Other than seeing your daughter watching.
Honestly, I feel like I'm still going through the process. Because my healing process is never ending for me. It's like an addiction. Like somebody in their addiction, it has to be a constant thing every day. Or you're going to fall right back into, you know what I mean, their patterns and behaviors. I feel like me living my day-to-day and me just trying to be happy, right? This is me trying to be happy. Living proof therapy works. I've been going to therapy since I was 19 years old. And therapy hasn't always worked for me. Probably like the first 4 or 5 years it did not, because I didn't understand it, right? But also somebody telling me what I'm going through, it's like, you don't know shit. I still had that, like, you don't know shit about me, right? And I was forced into therapy by my judge, so I'm thankful for her. It was mandatory that I see a therapist to figure out what the fuck was going on in my brain, because it's like I knew what was going on, but I didn't know. I didn't know the impact of, you know, what I went through as far as my dad being killed and, you know, just my upbringing and dealing with users and, you know what I mean, not being loved properly. It all boils down to stuff.
Most of that stuff be feeling like when you in it, it's almost feeling like you like this is normal. So like it takes for somebody to tell you like, yo, that's not normal. I mean, right. You going through this stuff isn't normal. So you like when
it's like you kind of, it's like you kind of, if you have people outside of you, outside of your family that lives a different life than you, and you go around and be around them, and you be like, well, why the fuck this not happening over here? You know what I mean? You go, what is normal, they got this normal life over here, and all, you know, you come back to my house, it's chaotic. So me going over there is like, well, why are your sisters and them ain't jumping off the walls? Or like, why they ain't cussing your mom out? Or like, you know what I mean? Then they come to my house and like, y'all talk to your mom like that? Y'all talk bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
It's real, and I feel like a lot of people, you know, just don't get to see that or understand it, because they just such a product of their environment.
Yeah, it's like the world way bigger than them 4 blocks. But you running up and down.
There's nobody there to teach them right from wrong, especially if they mom or dad,
if they doing the
or
same
their
shit.
dad in and out of jail, somebody's on drugs, or somebody's doing this.
If they
There's
all doing
nobody
the
there.
same shit, they can't teach you nothing.
There's not one person there to steer them wrong, like steer them in the right way for them doing wrong.
Right.
So it's a lot of kids out here that's just off the wall because their mom and their dad let them do whatever, and then their mom. You got some parents out here just thinking things are right that their kids are doing because I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, I don't know, they don't got the education of like raising kids or just having kids around them or just having that mom, their mom or dad teaching them right. So it go down from generation to generation, and then you putting all this stress and stuff on your own kids because you think your kids got to go out and get it or fend for themselves and do this and do that.
Right.
Which in some sense you do. You know, if your kid older, 17, 18, they got to get a little job or whatever. But some parents put so much pressure on their own kids, and it shouldn't be like that.
But
it's always the kid raising the parent.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get it the opposite way around. You get the spoiled kids that don't hear the word no, and that just want to get out here in the world and just take also.
And
so it's not only the ones that's deprived.
Yeah, and I definitely want to touch on that because, you know, when it comes to mothers and their sons, a lot of mothers and their sons, is how y'all treat y'all sons. Y'all be so soft on y'all sons and be hard as fuck on y'all daughters when in all actuality it should be equal. It should be an equal amount of both for each child. But to tell your daughter that she gotta go out here and she gotta, you know, be a queen and, you know, don't let nobody run over you, and then you have this son who is a mama's boy and get to disrespect whoever he want to disrespect and do whatever he want to do and get whatever he want to get, and he's growing up to be this he's a man child. That's what he grew up to be, a man child. a lot of these men are still boys.
But actually sitting there telling
they can't even think for themselves. They finna call their mom like, "Mom, this girl," you know what I mean? They don't know nothing.
Yeah, and actually telling your kids one thing and then they actually seeing another thing between you and your baby father or her and her boyfriend. You say, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that to your own kids. But you turn around, you see your mom doing all this stuff that you telling your kid not to do. And how they supposed to take that? Now they're confused.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And people don't sit there and you got to really talk to your kids daily. You know, check up on your kids, be there for your kids because...
Y'all better start going in their rooms, turning their rooms upside down.
You really got to check because look how it is now. These kids out here shooting for a hobby. They got guns under the mattress. You're not checking on nothing. You ain't checking what's in their phone. And they still from 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that's killing other kids. What? So how that's going? It's a whole bunch of
But do y'all think that the reason some of these kids is like we losing most of these kids to the street, but back in our day we had more recreational than they do now. We had more places than they can go.
Because they being followers and all. Because that stems from back to your parents too. Not telling the kids, having these conversations on where this stuff lands you, what this stuff doing, instead of telling them and giving them a breakdown of everything and having these conversations. You wait until your kid actually get into the trouble. Then you tell them, you can go to jail for this amount of time, and you can. So it's like,
at what point do you when you can sit here and say that I'm being a good parent, right? And I've raised you to the best of my ability. But like the day, because I even come up to my little upbringing or whatever, and I can look back and be like, I was being told. I'm the youngest, so I was being told a lot of things. I'm saying from this and that, good and bad.
Yeah, we weren't told.
You know what I'm saying? So when I went outside, it's a whole it made me a leader in a sense because I don't have these like that small-minded thinking where it's like, okay, I gotta do what you're doing. I'm like, no, I seen a bunch of people do way different shit, but I seen people that come from these great parent households, but come out here and run into other leaders. Yeah. But their leading methods might not be to the best for you. You know what I'm saying? It can lead you to the streets. It can lead you to drug addiction. It can lead you to so much shit. So it's like you can have the impact on your kid, but when they walk out to that door, they walk out them doors like they still their own person. You know what I mean? So like when they come back to you, like, all right, your kids may cuss to their friends. Yeah. But when they get around you, they're not gonna cuss. You know what I'm saying? Some kids, I'm just saying, like, hopefully most kids. They don't go fuck. Like, my young drew a picture of his middle finger up, and I was like, he showed me a whole book of banging ass art, right? And I'm looking at the Joe like, okay, this is some nice art. But then I seen the Joe with the middle finger, I was like, hold on, what's this? He was like, oh no, that was supposed to be pointed to the sky. Stop lying to me. You know, stop lying to me. You don't gotta lie to me about that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I just want, like, it's like a barrier you gotta break down. Like, yo, I'm not your friend, but I am somebody you can come and talk to and understand most things.
That's definitely important because a lot of kids feel like they don't have nobody to talk to. Right. They can't talk to their parents because if they do try to talk to their parents and if they did something wrong, automatically you're going to do is lash out. The parents are going to lash out at them instead of sitting them down and really trying to figure out like what is the problem, like what's going on with you. Like if I'm bad in school, don't just beat my ass. Figure out why am I being bad in school. You know what I mean? And talk to me, explain to me why this shouldn't be happening and what you shouldn't be doing. And you know, and keep it's really all about consistency with your kids. Like, and I can't stress that enough. Consistency is going to get you consistency will get you way farther with your child than just saying, don't do that no more. And then, you know, you beat them and then you don't talk to them for like the next month. No, sit your child down. How was school today? You know what I mean? Is there anything that you know you want mommy or daddy to do different? You know, how can I make you happy today? Do you want a hug? You know what I mean? All these things is important because these children, people think that they do not know what be going on. They know way more than you think. And once you break down that barrier that they have up against you to think that, you know, oh, I can't say that to my dad because he gonna get mad. When he don't have that, when that's not there, and they just talk to you, you're like, how the fuck? Who's 6? You know what I mean? Like, how you know that? Like, how you talking like that? Like, they so smart. Yeah, right. Like,
but it definitely take like a different type of like you gotta, as a parent, like you gotta like get in tune with yourself and shit. Like you gotta like really grow up and really like be on a lot of more, like even go to therapy for your own traumas and shit, so you don't place them on your kids and shit. So like I see
very important.
Yeah, like you gotta do that a lot. So when you went to therapy, right?
Still in therapy.
Well, okay. The process throughout therapy, like. Do you feel as though everyone needs therapy? Because I know that's a thing. A lot of people saying that now. Like, everyone needs therapy.
I feel as though every single one in the world needs a therapist.
So you're saying a therapist need a therapist?
Absolutely.
God
damn. God damn.
Because
the shit they hear.
I just wanted to make sure you wasn't biased.
No, I ain't biased. Because the things that the therapist got to hear all day.
She got to talk to someone else.
She got to talk. She got to let it out to somebody. Or she might not be a therapist for too much longer.
How much can you actually take on, like as a person? Like how much can when do you feel like, all right, that's enough for me taking on the problems of everyone else? Because I know you're like, you know, you deeply care. You're a caring person. You want to help and heal. How much can you take of that though before it start dwelling on you?
I think that I'm capable of handling a lot. I've learned and still learning how to